The Iowa Hawkeyes with another piece from the transfer portal and a much-needed one. The Hawkeyes needed help at tackle. They still need help at tackle, but they got some assistance by means of a Saginaw State transfer. Why Daijon Parker will help them up front in just a moment. But first, I want to thank our sponsor, Ascent Nutrition, and their wonderful coffee. They've also got some new products in the mushroom field, as well as pine pollen, algae oil, DHA. We've talked about these different products. Certainly check out which one might be best for you. Visit goascentnutrition.com. You can use the code Hawkeyes at checkout for 15% off your order, courtesy of From the Hawkeye of the Storm and Ascent Nutrition. So, Daijon Parker commits to the Iowa Hawkeyes. Big news for Iowa because, as we mentioned at the outset, problems up front last year and even back into 2020. Iowa hasn't really had a strong front offensively since 2020 when they ran the ball quite well, averaged over 4 yards per carry. They've struggled in run blocking, certainly in pass protection. And that starts with the tackles, right? They need help on the inside as well. Since the departure of Tyler Linderbaum, they've been struggling at center, and they struggle at guard as well. But Parker is likely a guy you're going to plug and play. I see him playing right away. Virginia, who he had previously committed to, we'll talk about that in a second, has him listed at 6'5", 300 pounds. So he's got the body. Maybe he's closer to 290. I know Saginaw State had him listed at 285, but at 6'5", and if he's close to 300, they're going to probably get him to 300 by the time the season starts. And he is a guy with just 1 year. So, I don't think you're taking a project guy who's going into his final year of eligibility. He redshirted in 18, did not play in 19. 2020 was technically a free year, but he has 1 year left to play one season. So my guess is he will start probably at right tackle. They like Mason Richmond at left, although the Hawkeyes are not closing the door on a potential second add at that position. Now, Parker, as I mentioned, Saginaw State tackle. So obviously not a high level of football. He's going to have an adjustment coming here. You watch him on tape, and I'm no offensive line guru, but you watch the guy on tape. He's dominating, right? And that's what you'd expect from a guy who's playing at a level, again, nowhere close to what he's going to be playing at Iowa, but you want to see a guy who's dominating. You watch his highlights, and you see a lot of pancakes. You see him throwing guys around. Again, that's what you want to see out of a guy like Daijon Parker. He is a really good athlete, a better athlete than probably Iowa has up front. Maybe the exception being Logan Jones, who's a bit undersized, but a weight room freak. Daijon Parker will be a great add. He's a Detroit native, grew up kind of inner city area, maybe slightly outside of the inner city. He is a graduate. Now, he committed to Virginia, and my understanding of the transfer rules and the signing rules is he did sign in early December, signed with Virginia after entering the portal earlier in the fall. But due to being a graduate student, he's able to basically switch his NLI. That's the way I understand it. Now, maybe somebody will be able to inform me better on this. I tried to do some research prior to this recording and couldn't find certain information on why he's able to just flip like this. I don't believe he needs a release. I believe the rules are different for a guy who signs during that early period if he's a graduate student. It's ironic, though, because Virginia already had Daijon Parker listed on their official website, on their roster. It's just a weird situation. As I record this, Daijon Parker is still listed on Virginia's website, despite having never played there and despite the fact that he will not play there. Now, there were some people that say, well, you're getting a guy who doesn't have any other major offers. That's not true. So in addition to Virginia, which is an ACC offer, Daijon Parker also had an offer from Washington State and some good group of five offers, Colorado State being one. He was offered by Old Dominion, offered by Florida A&M, Tulane, who just won the Cotton Bowl, taking down USC, Miami, Ohio, Eastern Michigan, Eastern Kentucky, Northern Arizona, Eastern Tennessee, New Mexico State, Ball State, Toledo, UMass, Western Michigan, Bowling Green, University of Maine, Kirk Ferentz's old school, Missouri State offered Daijon Parker, Illinois State, Southern Illinois, Kent State, Alcorn State, Midwestern states. We're going into the lower levels here. Murray State, FIU, that's Florida International, etc. So we can go on and on. He obviously got a lot of attention, not as much high major attention, but look, you're going to trust Kirk Ferentz. I know they've had issues these last 2 years, but you're going to trust Kirk Ferentz to identify offensive line talent. And this is one that Iowa fans should be excited about because, like I say, he's a different type of cat athletically, and likely a guy who starts from day one. So as far as signing, I'm assuming he's going to be signing here soon. And again, depending on how he needs to exit from the Virginia realm, if you will. But this is a good flip for Iowa. And remember the Iowa fans who were upset that Caden Proctor flipped from Iowa to Alabama? Iowa just flipped a kid from a Power 5 to a Power 5. So I don't want to hear those people who are upset about Caden Proctor. I understand being frustrated by that, but not really fair to Caden Proctor and his circle. A couple of further notes, and thank you to UVA's site on here. So as I mentioned, in 2018 as a true freshman, Parker redshirted. In 2019, did not play. 2021, he appeared in 10 games in the offensive line for the Cardinals, and in 22 appeared in 11 games, helped Saginaw State to an 8-3 record, helped the Cardinals a running game rank second in the Great Lakes Intercollegiate Athletic Conference with nearly 2,300 yards, placed third in total offense with over 4,000 yards, and finished third in scoring with nearly 34 points per game. It appears that Parker was a late bloomer. I think that's clear. Didn't get a whole lot of high major attention or attention at all out of high school. But boy, this is an example of someone who the transfer portal really benefits, and you love to see a kid like this who was not really highly sought after at all coming out of Detroit as a youngster, now has an opportunity to play not only Division I and FBS football, but Big Ten football. So congratulations to a guy who's going to be playing in a conference that he probably admired growing up